us in a flash go through the previous slides. The very important aspects is 1 ppm is equal to 1 mg per liter. This is applicable only for water or liquids. It is not applicable for air pollution. For air pollution, it is completely different. When it comes to percentages, whenever the concentration of a solid like chloride or fluoride or salinity or calcium or magnesium or iron, if it is high, we express it as percentages. For example, Srikakulam or near Visakhapatnam, we have bauxite ore. The aluminum percentage is nearly 50%. So the concentration is very high. So we do not express it as ppm or mg per liter. We express it as percent. Similarly, in seawater, the salinity is 35,000 ppm. So it is very common practice to express it as 3.5%. So like that, in brine, where the concentration of salt is very, very high, we express it as percent. But 1% is equal to 10,000 ppm. 1 ppm is equal to 1 mg per liter. So 1% corresponds to 10,000 mg per liter. Unless otherwise specified, we are all supposed to express the values only in mg per liter. If somebody brings a water sample and asks us whether it can be suitable for it, whether it is suitable for drinking or for construction or for irrigation or for any other industrial purposes, like whether the water can be used for boiler or not, whether the water can be used for cooling purposes or not, for any purpose, the best method to do immediately is conductivity. Conductivity is measured in micro-mho. Ohm is unit of resistance. Reciprocal of resistance is conductance. So we measure it in mho. For distilled water, it is 0. It's supposed to be 0. It is very, very less, much less than 10 micro-mho. So if as TDS is proportional to conductivity expressed in micro-mho per centimeter, the proportionality constant comes to roughly 0.65 for normal river waters and groundwaters. That is not a standard thing, but you can multiply with 0.65, you will get directly the value of TDS. That means salinity. If TDS is more, immediately you should know that chloride concentration is more, proportionately sulfate concentration is more. So the moment chloride and sulfate are very high, you know the standards. If it is more than 250 mg per liter, uh, is the desirable standard for chloride. It is not suitable for construction. Something like that. So the best method by far for any water sample is this. Even for sewage coming out of an industry, if the dissolved solids are to be found, the limit is 2000 mg per liter. If the sewage contains more than 2000 mg per liter, it cannot be disposed of on land. It causes a danger to the land. It is not suitable for irrigation. It should not be left out into any water body like lake or water, whatever. 2000 is the maximum possible limit. So how to find it? Whether some industry brings you a sample and asks whether this is suitable for disposal of or not, then what you will do? Dip the electrode of conductivity meter into that. Immediately you will find the conductivity as somewhere around 3000 or 4000 something micro-mho. Multiply with 0.65. Immediately you will get so many mg per liter. If it is more than 2000, you can immediately say that it is not suitable for it is not suitable for even disposal of also. So you have to treat it. So that is why it's a very, very beautiful method. And in just 1 or 2 minutes, you can immediately measure, tell whether the water is suitable for a particular purpose or not. Last time we have seen nitrate, for example, the concentrate standard specified is 45 mg per liter as NO3, but many books which you all must be following or which you follow, or even the gate examination, suddenly he may ask what is the standard of nitrate as nitrogen. You should be in a position to convert those things. These small things only, they make very big difference when it comes to competitive examinations. In theory examinations and in the examinations, the subject which are subjective, where you write a large number of uh, paragraphs as answer, it is okay. But when it comes to competitive examination like gate or any competitive examination, now this is the key, this is the turning point. You should know these small things. So nitrate as NO3, it is 45 mg per liter, but the concentration of nitrate as N becomes automatically 45 into 14 by 62, because 14 is the molecular weight of nitrogen and N, and 62 is molecular weight of NO3. 14 plus 3 into 16. Similarly, hardness. Hardness is generally, hardness or alkalinity both are expressed as CaCO3 because total molecular weight is 100. So on a scale, it is very easily we can imagine things and understand things. Calcium also can be expressed as CaCO3. Calcium as Ca, if you want, then you have to multiply calcium as CaCO3 into 40 by 100, because 40 is the molecular weight of calcium and 100 is the molecular weight of CaCO3. Similarly, for magnesium, you have to do like this. Next, these are all very important questions and very easy questions. Don't try to by heart them without understanding. Once you understand, uh, then throughout life you will be remembering it. And the best way is you try to. Some of your friends may not be in a position to understand it. You explain it to them. Then they also, you will learn thrice. We learn thrice when we teach others. The other guy also is benefited. That is how the friendship comes. These are all very important parameters which one should remember throughout. Next, please. This is a small, simple question. Uh, Many industries, they will water is the main criteria. We already have seen that Andhra Pradesh population is 5 crores. There are 13 districts. So on an average, each district has a population of about 40 lakhs. 40 lakhs into 13 becomes 5 crores. So on an average, each district should have 40 lakhs. The population of East Godavari was 65 lakhs in 2011. Today it is nearly 72 lakhs. It is increasing like anything. West Godavari population is increasing. Kadapa population is decreasing. Anantapur population is decreasing. The simple phenomenon you can understand that the moment water is there, life is there, agriculture is there, industry is there, people are there, richness is there, and more people go to that place. The reason, very simple reason why people are leaving places like Karnool, Kadapa, the main reason is there is no water. Water is very critical. That is why, as engineers, you should know how to manage water very well for the benefit of mankind. So, any a gas-based power plant 500 megawatt. I have taken this because GVK Gautami in East Godavari district, one of the 11 gas-based power plants in East Godavari district, it is 500 megawatt power plant. It requires about 30,000 meter cube per day. Generally, if water is not supplied continuously by any agency due to some problem, then the industry cannot be shut down so easily. It incurs huge losses. So they always want to have backup facility. That means even in the worst case, if water is not supplied, they should have a reserve source which can cater to the needs of 30 days. So that in these 30 days, they will think of an alternative. So here the design period is taken as 30 days for this pond. So what is the size of the pond? It is very simple. You have to simply observe the values and then calculate. The capacity or volume of the pond is 30,000 meter cube per day. You multiply with the day, you will get meter cube. That's all. You need not remember anything. So multiply with 1 month, that is 30 days. You will get 900,000 meter cube. Take the depth of the pond depending on the terrain as 6 meter or 8 meter or 9 meter. Anything is okay. And these ponds, they are all lined so that there is no seepage loss. And if the depth is very less, then evaporation losses will be very high. So all these also economics you have to work out. What is the optimum size? All these things you have to do because you have to save a lot of money for your industry. Your industry has appointed you with lot of faith. So you should work out all these things. If it is a 6 meter, what is the total economics? If it is 9 meter, what is the ultimately over a period of 10 years, what is the loss incurred? What is the profit incurred? All this you have to calculate. What is the construction cost? Because if every the pond is to be lined, you have to calculate the complete area to be lined. All these things are to be calculated. Of course, here when it comes to environmental engineering, you need not have to calculate all those things, but assume some depth of 6 meter or 6.5 meter. I have taken it as 6 meter. So the area of the pond becomes 900,000 meter cube divided by 6 meter, which comes to 150,000 meter square. As 10,000 meter square is equal to 1 hectare. That is 1 hectare is 100 meter by 100 meter. All these parameters, they should be on fingertips. They should be dancing on your tongue. Without, you cannot do anything. And if you know that, if you hold them tight, if they are in your grip, then the entire subject is in your grip. Entire civil engineering is in your grip. You go to any country, acre is a very commonly used unit, and you are supposed to know how many square meter it is. Things like that. So 15 hectares. 1 hectare is 2.56 acre. So it comes to roughly 37, 38 acres. Can I continue speaking? Okay. Maybe some small. Okay. Because you are listening to me, let me continue. Now, today we will see, last class we have seen IS 10,500. It was actually 1991 was in existence for nearly 20 years. For 20 years we use 91, and for the first time we are using IS 10,500 2014. Sorry, 2012. So all these standards you remember, you need not remember verbatim. That means exact values are not required, but you should know that for residual chlorine, that is free chlorine, it is 0.5 ppm. For chloride, it is 250 ppm. The form of the element is very important and critical. Similarly, ammonia, the concentration is 0.5, whereas for nitrate, ammonia also it is nitrogen only. Nitrogen, ammonia in nitrogen standard in the form, if it is in the form of NH3, it is 0.5 ppm. Whereas nitrogen in the form of NO3, it is there up to 45 ppm. It is okay. Okay. Next, please. We have seen that freezing is a very age-old technique and a very important technique to convert seawater or saline water, highly saline water, even a brine concentrated salt solution also can be converted very easily to pure water or distilled water. Water with a conductivity of less than 10 micromoles. That means it has a salinity of less than 5 mg per liter. Next, please. The ideal range is -8 degrees centigrade to 0 degrees centigrade. So some of the assignments I have given, naturally I give assignments in a very selective way. Engineering you can cherish, you can enjoy, and you can remember, you can be benefited only if you conduct experiments with interest. The moment you don't do, you will not enjoy engineering. So these are all small experiments, and it takes to find conductivity, it takes just 1 minute. So you have to collect 2-3 samples and then find out. That's all. So they will improve your fundamental knowledge like anything. It makes the process of learning fun. Next, please. Next. So any natural process or any process which is close to nature, it is not harmful to nature, but its yield is very less. So these are all the parameters you should remember. When I say solar still, you should always remember that numericals and figures are very catchy. When I asked you to write about solar still, we don't expect that you write paragraphs. If you write this small picture, if you just scribble like this very quickly, and then write that figure of 3 liter per day per meter square, you have got 100% marks. Many people, they don't draw the sketch. They don't write this line, which is the most important design parameter. Engineering parameter in this is 3 liter per day per meter square. As long as you don't write this and you don't draw that sketch, because drawing is the language of engineering. As long as you don't do these two things, you write 2 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages, you will not get marks. The main thing we see only is this. This is first. Then, okay, depending on the number of marks devoted to that particular question, we have to build up a story. Next, please. These are all, once again, just have a flashback, because pictures are very catchy, and anything that you see will be imprinted even in the subconscious mind. So even if you are not understanding, when you see a picture, it will be imprinted in the mind, and tomorrow in the examination you can easily recollect those figures. That is the reason why I am showing this number of times. In hostels also, in your room also, you should always, whatever is very important, and you must remember things like 1 kg4 is equal to 9.81 Newton. M15, what is M stands for? Recently we asked a faculty member, 90% of the students, they do not know. M stands for mix. That is why we call it as M15. What is that 15? You ask any student, very few people they can tell. They say that it is strength or something like that. What are the units? That is very essential. So this is the very basic tacit knowledge. So such type of important things you should write out on the rear side of your drawing sheet, and then with a sketch pen, and keep it in your room on the wall. You paste it or you attach it till that main formula, they are owned by you. Night at 2 o'clock also you should be in a position to tell all these things. 1 hectare is this, one this is all these conversions. Bernoulli's theorem, for example. Throughout your life, somebody or other, they will be asking you about Bernoulli's theorem. Archimedes principle is there. Any moment they may ask you, any time. 90% of you, I am sure you do not know Archimedes principle. You cannot state it. What is the viscosity of water? Is a very important parameter. So all these things, you see that they are all on the board till it becomes your own. Unless you develop this sort of seriousness, it's very difficult to compete with the world. Okay, next please. We have seen for pH. Next please. Normal rain has a pH of 5.6 or above it. If the pH is less than 5.6, it must be due to some foreign substances like SO2 and NO2. SO2 plus H2O forms H2SO3. H2O plus NO2 forms HNO3. Both are acids. That is why the pH may come down to less than 5.6. Then only it is acid. Otherwise, normal atmosphere also, normal rain may interact with the CO2 present in the atmosphere and may form H2CO3, which is a mild carbonic acid. As a result, normal rain also may have a pH of as low as 5.6. Now here there is a very important question, global question, and that is, what is the concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere? Every one of you must know. Every human being must know. Because the main challenge of the world, entire world today, the main problem is climate change. Climate change is caused by global warming. Global warming or greenhouse effect, they are all caused by mainly by carbon dioxide. The concentration of carbon dioxide today is nearly 390 ppm. 1 ppm is not equal to 1 mg per liter because it is air. So 390 ppm is this concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere. It's a very, very important question. And what is the safe value for CO2? It is 350 ppm. If it is more than 350 ppm, next generations, our children, our grandchildren, they cannot live happily. They will face the music. So if we have to give a good environment to the next generations, it is our responsibility to see that the 390 ppm is reduced to 350 ppm. and then we have to hand over that environment, that earth surrounded by this, to our next generations. So for that, what is that we can do? Next please. Okay, next, next, next. You simply observe all these parameters are toxic. Toxic means at very low concentration they can cause death. The ultimate penalty also can be there. All other things, like for example, if water has a color or water has turbidity, that means it has some silt, or it has some clay, then it gets, let us say, some turbidity it has got. If the standard for that is, let us say, 5 NTU. Suppose it water is you are drinking has a turbidity of 10 NTU. It does not harm you at all. The worst thing that may happen is your consumer acceptance will be decreasing. So your psychologically you will be feeling, but this is a dirty water or something like that. It does not cause a serious effect, even if you drink it for a few days. Whereas if it is a toxic substance like cyanide or even chromium or these substances, then at very low concentrations, if you drink also, they can be, the ultimate penalty will be given, and that is death. For example, lead. Most of the fingernails, they contain lead. Of course, I'm not talking about what lead in water. In general, how lead gets into our body. Lead need not enter our body only through water. That is for water. But lead is dangerous. Fingernails contain lead. Paints contain lead. Most of the students, after the class is over, they go back to their home in a bus. They travel for 1 hour. In this 1 hour, what they do, using their fingers, they write the names of their names or somebody else's name, or favorite heroine's name or hero's name, on the back seat of rear side of the front seat. They write with a nail. They make like this, and 90% of the human beings have the habit of biting nails. When you do it, directly the lead is going into it. That leads to lead poisoning. And what is the concentration? 0.01 milligram. Also, if it enters your body, it's so dangerous. What is 1 milligram? And if you take 0.01 milligram, very dangerous. It immediately causes acute stomachache. And if you do it daily or every now and then, loss of sight, loss of thirst. That means you will not feel like drinking water. Gradually, loss of sight, and then death. It is called lead poison. This is only a small example I have given. All these are very fatal, very dangerous. Anything that gives artificial beauty has lead in that. It may be taken for granted. All paints. Never purchase a house based on its paint. Structural design you have to see. How strong it is structurally, that you have to see. It is a very old building, beautiful paint, fresh paint. Will you purchase? Anything that is artificial beauty, it fades out. It fades off. That fading is possible only because lead is converted to another form and it is faded. Lipstick, for example. Lipstick contains 90% is lead only. So it is dangerous both to wife and husband if the quality of lipstick is bad. Not a joke. Nickel, mercury. Mercury, see the concentration, 0.001 mg per liter. Very dangerous. Okay. Next, please. Next. Now we will get into the, before going into the main cream, let me solve a problem. as one of our friends from DNR College, Bhimavaram, has raised in the previous class. This is of chapter number 4. But why I have given it purposefully is that without knowing anything about that also, if you use common sense, how easily you can solve the problem. Every one of you can solve this problem if you have the habit of bringing a calculator and if you apply your mind. Today, you ask any student in the country. In the country, there are 4,000 colleges. Each college, 350 students join. So every year, 13 lakh students are joining engineering. 4 years, 4 into 13 becomes 652 lakh students are studying engineering, BTech, first, second, third, and fourth year. 8 lakh MTech students are there. Totally 60 lakh students are studying engineering in India, any given time. Out of these 60 lakh students, if you ask anybody, what is square root of 0.4? Immediately he will say 0.2. When I say it is wrong, he will stop it there. That's all. He will not even try. What is the style of solving a problem? Before the word comes out from your tongue or before you tick it, you should cross check. That is basic minimum thing you are supposed to do. So your answer you are saying is 0.2. What is 0.2 square? 0.04. Is it matching? No. The question is square root of 0.4. So this is wrong. So immediately you should know that this is wrong. Very silly. Then you should try another answer. Maybe 0.5. 0.5 square is 0.25. So that also is less. So 0.7. 0.7 means 0.49 is its square. So it is high. So it must be 0.6. 0.6 means 0.36. Square is 0.36. So it is slightly more than 0.6. So the answer is around 0.62, 0.63. Whatever it is there, you tick it. You are through. But 99.9% of the students, they do not apply their mind for solving this simple problem. They are interested only in the answer. Beauty is not in the destination, it is in the journey. You can enjoy any subject only when you struggle to learn and try to understand on your own. That struggle only beauty is there. The moment you ask a student what is square root of 0.4, he will say 0.2 and then he will stop. He will not think further at all. When you tell all this explanation also, he will not listen. Suddenly he wakes up and knows that it is 0.63, he notes down. That's all. Later when you ask him what is square root of 0.9995237, he will break his head and he will not even attempt to solve. Apply common sense. When I say square root of 0.999307345, all that is only to confuse you. It is very, 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 very close to 1. So the answer also must be equal to square 0.999370 or something like that. That is the basic thing. But people do not apply mind. I'm telling you, 99.99% of the people do not apply. They do not even listen. I'm very sure when this class is going on, most of you are sleeping. Because MOOC class is only for those who are self-driven. It is not for those who are forced to listen. Because no force is there. Your own conscience is your police. Okay. Let us now solve a question. This is the most important reactor in any water or wastewater treatment unit. Advanced wastewater unit, any town in the country, this unit will be there. You name any industry in the country or in the world, you will find this unit. And as a civil engineer, you are supposed to know that its design. You need not understand why it works, how it works. You need not understand. That is in fourth chapter, next mid. But without knowing anything also you can design. That gives you a lot of confidence. My question is, for a city of population, for a town of population 1 lakh, Please note down. For a town of population 1 lakh, design a clarifier. That's all. Design means you have to find the diameter. That's all. Now, I have given, you need not have to assume that it is 40 meter cube per day per meter square. In JNTU examination system, you have to remember, it is a very, very important design parameter, you have to remember. But in gate examination, they will not give you that chance also. You need not have to remember anything. Entire data is given very clearly. Otherwise, tomorrow, it may lead to some unnecessarily legislatory problems. That is why they don't take any chance. They give a lot of information, every possible information they give. You have to observe units. That's you know that clarifier is a circular tank. You know that its design value is 40 meter cube per day per meter square. What is the design flow? 1 lakh persons into 135 liter per person per day. So it comes to 13,500 meter cube per day. Now design means you have to find the diameter or d square or something in terms of d you have to find. The flow is in meter per day. Flow is in meter cube per day. The design value of the clarifier is 40 meter per day. We call it as surface loading or settling velocity or whatever it is. You need not know it. It is there given to you. So what you have to get? You have to get meter square area. So what you have to do? You have to multiply or divide it by or add. You have to divide it by. So it is 13,500 meter cube per day divided by 40 meter per day. You will get per day get cancelled. Meter cube by meter is meter square. So pi d square by 4 is equal to, you will get so much. Next please. That's all. You will be surprised to know this is a 2-mark question in the gate examination. Almost all the students, good students, reasonably good students, after the gate examination, they simply weep because the paper is so very simple. You need not have to remember. You have to apply mind. That's all. If you see the answers, they look very silly. So easy they are. So easy. But most of the engineering colleges today we are seeing, from each engineering college, 500 students go to Hyderabad for competitive examination in some organization. Morning 7 o'clock to night 8 o'clock, they listen. They listen sincerely. But the selection percentage success rate is out of 500, 1 or 2 only are getting qualified. Whereas some students, they study only 2 hours or 3 hours. Directly they go and they get reasonably good marks. This is the reason. If you don't change your attitude, if you don't bring calculator, if you are not regular to what is told to you, then you will face music for the next 70 years. See how simple it is. Discharge is 13,500 meter cube per day. Let design surface loading be 40 meter cube per day or 40 meter per day, whatever it is. This, of course, for JNTU system or even otherwise also, that you must remember throughout your life. 40 meter per day is the design settling velocity. That means roughly 2 meter per hour. That also is okay. Then surface area of clarifier is pi d square by 4 is equal to so much. So diameter comes to roughly 21 meters. I have extended the problem. Detention time is 2 hours. How much time the water is detained in the tank? It is also called a residence time. How much time the water is residing in that? Just like on earth, if earth is our home, our residence time is 100 years. Similarly here, it is 2 hours. So what is the volume of the clarifier? There it is 2 hours means your mind should tell it is 2 by 24 day. Flow is meter cube per day. This is day. Multiply both. You will get meter cube, which is the volume of the clarifier. That's all. You will get it as 1125 meter cube. You know the volume of it. You know the surface area of it. Find the depth. Depth is equal to 1125 meter cube divided by 337.5 meters square, which comes to 3.5 meters. That's all. Depth should always be 3 to 6 meters, depending on the size of the clarifier. Here the depth is diameter is 21 meters, up to 40 meters. That means almost the size of this hall. For example, most of the classrooms in civil engineering, they are of width about 8 meters, 7 meters, 7 to 8 meters. So that forms like a scale. So based on that, you should be in a position to imagine what is the size of the clarifier. Imagination is more important than knowledge, said Einstein. That's all. As a part of water or wastewater treatment process, clarifier is a reactor seen in each and every industry, as well as WTP means water treatment plant. Wastewater also is water only. Is it clear? Are you convinced that it is very easy? You don't know anything about it. You need not know to solve a problem. Problem solving is a skill. What is the first step to solve? Put pen on paper. Simply seeing like that will not solve it. First put pen on paper. Write whatever data is there, you write down the data and convert it to suitable units. For example, he may give it as hour. Hour we never use. So write it, convert it to day or second. Somebody gives it in hectare or acre. We never use it. You convert it to meter square. Like that, convert to units. And then just observe, you will solve it. We have seen already the monthly requirement of alum. This problem we have done last time. We have done it now. So a treatment plant like Kakinada, every month we are spending 18 lakhs because 1 kg alum costs about 15 rupees. Next please. Huh? Okay. Don't worry, don't worry. Go to 22. Now another very important point. We are now talking about this. Today's topic is, it fetches, you can answer one full question in the examination. And the question generally given is, what are the sources, effects, standards, and methods of control of the following parameters in drinking water? That is the question. And they give some 10 parameters. In the ISN 500, a list of some 20-25 parameters are given to you. Out of these 20, any 10 parameters may be asked, or any 8 parameters may be asked. You have to give the standards. Standards I have already told you. You need not give the exact values, but reasonable values. You should give, for chlorine, you should never write 250 or 200 or 500. Chlorine, if you write that it is less than 1, you are through. You are correct. Chloride, you are not supposed to write it as 1. Chloride, you must write, if you write as correct value is 250. If you write it as 200, very good. If you write it as 300, very good. Sulfate, chloride, both are same. These are the small concepts you should remember. That's all. Now let us see what happens if a particular substance is present in excess of these standards. Let us take, for example, nitrate. What happens if nitrate is there? What are the source? What are the standards for nitrate? 45 mg per liter as NO3. What are the sources? Why groundwater is? You all have to remember a beautiful point. 90% of the world population, for its domestic use, dome means home. Dome and home both are same. Actually, it is a domestic word. Home has come from dome only. Dome means this earth itself is our home. In that concept, it has come. Something that covers us, that something that protects us. So domestic means domestic purposes. That means household purposes like cooking, drinking, washing, flushing the toilets, floor washing, gardening. All these are called domestic purposes. Now, why 90% of the world population are using groundwater for domestic purposes as well as industrial purposes? Now, Andhra Pradesh government has completely banned using tube well waters. That means industries use tube wells only, apartments use tube wells only, and this is banned. So what happens because of this? The main water source itself is at threat. Almost 15 years before, Tamil Nadu government has completely banned tube wells because Tamil Nadu groundwater is completely contaminated due to excessive pumping by using tube wells. Let us see what happened with reference to nitrate. We all use groundwater only because groundwater is always safe. For example, my own house, we get municipal water, we also get groundwater. I always prefer groundwater only. What is the simple reason? When water reaches the well, it passes through a sand bed which 100% filters the bacteria, which 100% removes the turbidity. So water is always pure. So I need not have to depend on any other source. If the groundwater is of a reasonably good value for taste, then because it is free from this. Anyhow, I prefer to use some domestic filter like Ganga water filter or some water filter. That's all. That is sufficient. And in the last 20 years, I have never visited a hospital for any waterborne disease. So groundwater is extensively used. Now, why this problem has come is our area is mainly agriculture based state. These areas are all. And Kakinada has urea manufacturing industry, ammonia manufacturing industry. Both are nitrogen based fertilizers. Nitrogen increases the fertility of soil. Fertility means ability to produce more grains or food or more crop. So general tendency is we use lot of fertilizer. That fertilizer nitrogen is taken up by the plants. But what about do you think that every milligram of nitrogen applied will be taken up by the plant? No, it will penetrate into the ground. The rainwater will take it to the groundwater. So the groundwater is contaminated by this excessive use of nitrogen based fertilizers. What are the nitrogen based fertilizers? One is ammonia, another one is urea, NH2CO, NH2. Another one is ammonium sulfate, NH4 twice SO4. Mainly it is urea. For example, our own Nagarjuna urea is a very popular urea. In India, there are about 33 nitrogen based fertilizer industries, out of which the third largest and prestigious one is Nagarjuna urea, NFCL. In South India, there is only one phosphatic fertilizer industry. They manufacture DAP, diammonium phosphate. There is only one in South India, and that is in Kakinada. Coromandel fertilizers now called Murugappa group. So let us now get back to our nitrogen based. So what happens? The farmer always feels government always gives subsidy to the farmers. They make fertilizer available at a very modest price, very low price. That all the loss is taken up by the government. So easy, at a low cost, fertilizer is available. The farmer, so that farmer can use fertilizer and get lot of revenue out of it. So this excess fertilizer, whatever it happens, it ultimately goes to the groundwater, and groundwater is contaminated. So what happens if the groundwater contains more than 45 mg per liter? Very interesting phenomena take place. Nitrate, when we drink, immediately it is converted into NO2. Why? One type of bacteria, we already have seen that there are more than 10,000 varieties of microorganisms. More than 10,000 varieties. One particular variety, it has its own style. See, most of us, uh, some people, they do not drink milk, but they take milk if it is in the form of a palakova. Yes, sir. What is palakova? What is kova? What are sweets? They are all made of milk only. But they don't drink milk. But if it is available in the form of kova, they eat. Similarly, this particular type of bacteria, it has a lot of affinity, love, taste for the oxygen present in the form of NO3. So immediately that particular bacteria will take up the oxygen present in NO3 and convert it to NO2. NO2 is highly unstable. Unstable means it will not remain in that form for a long time. It always tries to go back to its original stable position. For example, I stand on one-footed, I stand. What will be my tendency always? Always get back to a position where I am stable. Same way, NO2 will be immediately converted to NO3. For that, it requires oxygen. From where it takes oxygen? It takes that oxygen from the blood or hemoglobin. Because the hemoglobin of the blood, compared with that, NO2 is 100 times more powerful, more affinity for this oxygen. So there is a competition between NO2 and hemoglobin for oxygen in the blood. Which wins? NO2 wins because it is more powerful. So that NO2 will take up oxygen from the blood and is converted to NO3. So ultimately nothing has happened to NO3. But who suffered? The oxygen in the blood has come out. What happens if oxygen in the blood comes out? Immediately the person turns blue in color due to oxygen deficiency. In the previous class, we have already discussed this. When a baby is newly born, just by looking at the baby, the doctors will say that the baby needs oxygen. On what basis they say is, if the baby is suffering from oxygen deficiency, if there is less oxygen, the baby, newly born baby, turns blue in color. We have seen a movie of Chiranjeevi, Punnami Nagu, in which he was fed with some poison. So the doctor ultimately tells him that your body is poisoned. Your father thought that if you no snake bite kill you, but the problem now is if you bite a banana tree full of oxygen, banana trees you all know that it is full of oxygen. You cut a banana tree and keep in a marriage party or a crowded party 24 hours after being felled, also after being chopped off, also for 24 hours it supplies oxygen to us. It is full of oxygen. So what happens if you bite that banana tree? Immediately it becomes blue. It is full of oxygen, but all that oxygen is you will take it away because of this poison, and because oxygen is gone, you will become blue. This is a beautiful incident. Maybe in a cinematical, dramatic way it is shown, but it is fact that whenever oxygen decreases, any body becomes blue in color. So we all know that when a snake bites, also the body turns blue. So same is the case here. But why it is called blue baby disease? Because it occurs only in infants of age less than 1 year only. Less than 1 year only are called infants. Child means less than 5 years only. Less than 5 years is called child, less than 1 year is called infant. So what happens is, if the baby is 3 months old or 6 months old or 8 months, 9 months old, then the body resistance power does not develop immediately. It takes some time. So during that time, if the baby drinks water which contains nitrate, all these things they form immediately. Because the body has no resistance, the baby instantaneously suffers from oxygen deficiency, and body turns blue and the baby dies. And in a village background it happens. People think that it is something else, but as civil engineers we need to educate ourselves first, understand the science in that, and then bring that awareness in the people. So what is the solution to this? Every year millions of babies, they are dying like this, unattended. People think that it is some problem, and because they contain very less amount of water they consume, so these children may be fed with mineral water or bottled water which is free from nitrate. That is the best solution. So that is the only solution. These are the sources and these are the effects. That is how you are supposed to write for these parameters. And sometimes they may ask for questions like mercury or nitrate or hardness in an elaborative manner. So let us see for 2-3 more parameters how to write them, because they are very important. Another parameter very common is, why I have grouped all these things together is, in tomorrow in an examination, if they ask for TDS, this is the answer. If they ask for chloride, 90% of the same answer. If they ask for sulfate, 90% of the answer is same. That is why I have grouped and made the answers also in such a systematic way that you need not have to remember for each and every parameter separately. Just apply your mind. Strategically you prepare. What are the standards for TDS? You should remember. It is 500 mg per liter. Chloride. What is the concept you should know? TDS is constituted by chloride and sulfate. So chloride value, it should not be more than 500 mg per liter. That is the fundamental aspect you have to remember. Suppose you write it the moment you have not remembered. Many people, they remember without understanding. So he will simply write chloride 2000. There you will lose a lot. Don't do such type of silly things. All competitive examinations questions are asked like this only. You should always, your science should be driven by common sense. So for chloride it is 250 mg per liter. For sulfate it is 200 mg per liter. These are the standards. Once again I am telling you, if you write 200 for both, it is okay. For alkalinity and hardness also it is okay. It is same actually. Now sources. What are the sources of these salts? What is the main source of chloride? Chloride we get from sea. So sea water contains lot of chloride. Almost 18,000 mg per liter of chloride it contains. 18,000 chloride. Total salts 35,000. Maybe 10th time I am telling. 3.5%. General principle is, the thumb rule is, seawater has a salinity of 35,000 mg per liter, out of which 18,000 mg per liter, that means roughly 50% is by chloride, about 40% is by sulfate, SO4. And seawater salinity is more than deep well waters. As we go deeper in the earth, generally, the salinity increases, the chloride value increases, the sulfate value increases. Open wells in our houses, their salinity is less compared to water from deep wells. Open well water, the salinity is much more than the river waters. For example, Godavari river water which we all drink, or Krishna water which we drink, all these river waters, they have a chloride value of around 30 mg per liter. 30. That is why mineral water also has a pH, has a chloride value of around same value, 30 mg per liter. More or less. 30 can become 40, 40 can become 50. This is not a problem. What is the standard for chloride? 250 mg per liter. So as long as it is less than 250 mg per liter, it is very good. It is very good. 30 mg per liter or 250 mg per liter, both are very good. I'm just giving you the general value of Godavari river water. So because Kakinada municipality, the basic source of water is Godavari, so the same water you will get. In our houses also, if you find it, you will find it as 30 mg per liter. So river water and mineral water more or less same. They are sweet waters. We call them as sweet waters. And this salinity is more than the distilled water or rainwater. Rainwater or distilled water has a TDS of about 10 mg per liter. That is why we go for double distilled water. Sometimes very young children are there, children are there or infants are there. They are not provided with tablets. Can they swallow tablet? A small child, 6 months old, will you put a buffalo tablet into his mouth? Buffalo tablet means some tablets are of very big size. You can't put it. So what they do is they purchase mineral water. They purchase distilled water from the market. It gets 2 ml vial. It is called 2 ml distilled water they get. But how that quality should be? It is distilled water is again distilled. It will become double distilled water. You will get a salinity of only 3 mg per liter in that. It is again distilled. Then you will get a salinity of 1 mg per liter or 2 mg per liter. Till then it is distilled, highly purified. That water is mixed with this tablet and it is converted into the liquid form and then it is injected into the child's body. That is how it is. So for such type of injection or medicine, you need to have a quality of water which is very, very pure. So you need to go for such type of quality. So normal case, mineral water or river water, and it is further distilled or very high quality is distilled water, rainwater. Which water we have to use depending on the purpose. For example, a please write, boiler waters are there in an industry. It should not have any hardness. It should not have any salt in that. Zero chloride. Zero means it will not be possible, but at least very, very less chloride. Less than 10 mg per liter. No chloride, no sulfate, no hardness. Matal lev. Boilers, that only is used. If it is for cooling purpose, any water can be used. Sea water also can be used. Because in cooling, what is that? Is it appearing in the product? A pipe is carrying hot gases. The temperature is to be decreased. What we do? We take a container with water, sea water. We see that this pipe passes through that. That's all. So the temperature of this the high temperature of this pipe will be decreased by the water. That's all. It is not interacting with that. So it will not be polluted. So it is only decreasing the temperature of it. So what is the quality required? Any quality. So that is how you have to understand. Even if the water is highly turbid, it can be used. For example, boating is to be done. Boating. Then the quality of water, how it should be? In sea water, you can boat it. Boating is possible or not? You can do it. Any amount of salinity, it hardly matters. River water is turbid. You can do it in sewage. Can you do boating? Sewage. Municipal sewage. You cannot do it. That is common sense. For example, swimming is there. Swimming pool water standards. How swimming pool should be done? In swimming pool, the water comes in contact with our mouth or not? Unknowingly, something gets into that or not? How the quality of water should be? Some common sense. Almost maybe close to drinking water. But some turbidity it may have, just like river water. River waters are suitable for swimming or not? How many of you enjoyed swimming in a river, chasing a fish? You have not enjoyed any pleasure provided by nature. This is a very beautiful experience. All river waters are highly turbid. So for swimming pool, turbidity is not a criteria. That is how you have to think in a natural way. You will get the solution. Now, how to remove them? Even when I was a child, even today, many houses, we get water from pond water. Pond water also is surface water. River water also is surface water. Lake water from lakes, it is surface water. So these are all surface sources. All surface sources have a lot of turbidity. That is dirtiness, murkiness. How to remove that? We take a small alum piece, we mix the contents like this for a while, and then just leave it. After 5 minutes, you will find the water very clear. Use it for drinking purpose. Only in the bottommost portion, some sludge will settle. That you remove. Or use a cloth. Your mother's old torn sari is used as a filter in every house. Some old sari, 2-3 layers we keep it, and on that you put this water, pour this water. Any little bit of turbidity is there, that also will be removed. And this settled sludge, you throw it out. And like that we treat water domestically. So if you add alum, any turbidity is removed, but dissolved solids cannot be removed. Dissolved means it is dissolved completely. It cannot be filtered. So you have to understand that these chloride, sulfate and salinity, TDS, salinity is caused by chloride only. You have to note the point. Sometimes while saying that, I am saying in a very casual way that TDS and salinity, both I am saying as though they are same. It is not so. Salinity is measured based on the concentration of chloride. But in general, TDS means total dissolved solids. So what are those total dissolved solids? There chloride, sulfate, all salts are there. So in a synonymous way, we use it. But in the real sense, if a pure chemistry candidate is there, he will hold my neck. For us, it is okay. These chloride cannot be removed by coagulation with alum. Can it be removed? How Qatar, about 20 countries like Qatar, drinking water is supplied only by treating seawater. If it can be removed by coagulation, what will happen? They will use alum piece into the sea, and one ship they will tie it, and the ship will make 2-3 rounds, and the entire sea will be converted into the chloride is removed. Would have done it 1000 years before. Removing chloride is not a joke. Very, very costly. Okay. So it is removed only by, it cannot be removed by sand filtration. For the last 200 years nearly, drinking water is supplied only by filtration. Even in Kakinada, if you find, you will find a sand filter. There will be a sand bed through which water will be flowing, turbid water will be flowing. The sand bed will remove the turbidity. The sand bed will remove bacteria. Very powerful in removing bacteria. 100% bacteria will be removed. 100% turbidity will be removed by the sand bed. So water filtered by sand bed is 100% free from turbidity and bacteria. So it is very safe. But chloride, can it be removed by filtration? No. What? So it can be removed only by advanced desalination methods or demineralized methods like freezing. You all already have seen freezing is a technique. You get pure water from seawater. Another technique is distillation, that is boil it or evaporate it, just like solar still have seen. The moment I say solar still, you must say immediately how many liters? 3 liter per meter square per day. IE means ion exchange, RO reverse osmosis. Now in the modern world, most of the plants in engineering colleges, in industries, they are all RO plants only. So when something is going on, has picked up, you all should know it. How many of you have visited the RO plant in your own college and observed what is the pressure with which it is working What is the size of the membrane? What is the capacity of the plant? How many of you have seen? Observed. Do it as an assignment. ED means electrodialysis. Next please. What are the effects of chloride in excess of 250 mg per liter? I have written only for mainly chloride I have written, but it is applicable to salinity. If somebody gives for chloride, same answer. If somebody he asks for TDS, then what happens? Don't break down. 95% of the answer is same. If somebody asks you for sulfate, 80% of the answer is same. That means you have to write the same answer. Slightly you have to modify. What are the effects? 1. Taste, corrosion and palatability are caused. What is palatability? See dictionary. I assume that every student listening to me comes to the class with devotion and determination and dedication. I expect that every student comes with a dictionary and calculator. I request the students of this college to show their dictionary. How many of you have come with dictionary? Please just show it. You will see the future of this. If you closely observe them, you will see their future. Every student has come with a pocket dictionary. Now I will ask them, how many of you have come with a calculator? Please show the calculator. With pride, take pride when you exhibit your calculator. Bow down when you exhibit your mobile phone. But when it comes to calculator, take pride. The moment you bring a calculator, you have a glorious future. Nobody can stop. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let us see some of the effects once again. So we all know that chloride, it gives taste to water. What is water? From childhood onwards we have studied. Water should be free from color, odor and taste. Rangu, ruchi, vasana, kampu, chekadaram. Kadu. Only 3. First 3. Rangu, ruchi, vasana. But because of chloride you get it. If chloride exceeds 250 mg per liter. What is meant by palatability? Very good. Palatability means having a pleasant taste. Second, sodium chloride exerts a salty taste and causes cardiovascular diseases. What is meant by cardiovascular disease? Who is a cardiologist? Heart specialist. That means heart problems are caused if water contains excess chloride. Third point, chlorides are highly corrosive and cause permanent hardness. In hardness, there are 2 types. One is permanent hardness, another one is temporary hardness. And chloride causes permanent hardness. They are highly corrosive. Fourth point, for civil engineering students, it is very important. They corrode steel. The previous point we have seen, they are corrosive. They corrode steel and affect the solidity of concrete. They reduce the strength of concrete. What else you need? Whatever maximum damage they can do, they do it to a structure. Not only water, places like all the coastal areas have high concentrations of salt particles in the air. Even this salty breeze also, it can corrode steel. And we all know that concrete is not 100% impervious. Is concrete 100% impervious? Concrete is not 100% impervious. That means water will very gradually, maybe very slowly, but gradually percolate. What happens if it contains chloride? It will eat away. It will destroy the reinforcement, that is steel. And once the reinforcement is eaten away, The bond between these two is lost. 40% of structural failures are due to corrosion of reinforcement caused mostly by chloride in water. Lifelong, every civil engineering student must remember this. Even the construction sand which we use for construction, the sand also should be free from chloride. Our lab has a facility to find chloride in water, chloride in sand also. Both the procedure is same. Time taken is 5 minutes. But most of you do not do it because you do not have 5 minutes time. You ask any of your seniors, night at 2 o'clock also, if you wake them up, they can do how to find chloride in a sand sample. They can immediately do it. They will do it with joy. To do it, you may offer resistance. Once you do it, you will enjoy, and that gives you pleasure. Fifth point, chloride, if it is more than 2000 mg per liter, water is unfit for irrigation, water is unfit for gardening, water is unfit for construction, water is unfit for most of the industrial purposes. If chloride value is 10 mg per liter, it is not suitable even for boiler purposes. 10 mg per liter. Sixth point, particular range of salinity. A measure of chloride concentration in water is critical for fish and prawns. All animals have a property called adaptation. A particular range of, in particular range only they can withstand. For example, can we live in water having a pH of 3? Can we live in a water having a pH of 9.5 or above? No. We have, what is the pH range for us? Some drinking water, something is given, right? So similarly for fish, similarly for different types of animals have different ranges. Outside that they cannot adjust, they cannot adapt. I always say, samsaram ante sadgupoadame. Life is adjustment. If you cannot adjust, exit. If you cannot exist, exit. If you do not know how to adjust with your friends, if you do not know how to adjust with the existing world, then you have no right to live here. Just exit. On a lighter side, I'm saying don't do such type of things. I know you cannot adjust first with the subject. You are not able to adjust with Mook. Somebody asked a great genius, who is a Murkha? The genius replied, one who cannot enjoy Mook is the real Murkha. Okay. So today you all know that aquaculture, fish ponds, they are all very good entrepreneurs and very good business yieldings. Yes or no? Money yielding, profit yielding businesses. Fish ponds. Similarly, prawns. Now, the moment salinity is beyond a certain range, the whole thing it collapses. Sodium sulfate causes foaming. Most of us we observe, especially seawater, if you observe, you will find something like a foam. Have you observed any time? Okay. So water gets something like a foam like thing, lather like thing. That is due to sodium sulfate. Now sulfate causes crown corrosion in sewers. When a wastewater is carried by a pipe, it is called sewer. The sulfate present in that is converted by bacteria to H2S. H2S reacts with H2O and form H2SO3 and eats away the crown. Crown means top portion of the sewer, it eats away. The inner portion of the top portion. Am I clear? Inside the sewer, sewage is flowing. So this H2S gas, it escapes. It combines with H2O moisture and the inner portion of this crown portion of the sewer, it eats away and the whole sewer is gone. This is called crown corrosion. Then MgSO4 causes a laxative effect. What is meant by laxative effect? Please see it. What is meant by laxative effect? Lazy. It is nothing to do with lazy. Whenever you see a word, you will know so many other words unknowingly, synonyms, antonyms, how it can be used, the correct spelling, so many benefits you get, so many benefits. That is the only way of learning things. What is laxative? Emptying the bowels easily. Bowels means, what is meant by bowels? Intestines. Regular activity of bowels and bladder. That means regularly you must visit the toilet at a particular time only. So here laxative effect means motions. A person suffers from motions. You will feel some disorderly thing in the stomach, liver, all the intestines, everywhere, and you suffer from motions, instantaneous motions, more dangerous than emotions. And temporary diarrhea. It is not diarrhea in the real sense, but what is diarrhea? Diarrhea also is something like characterized by the symptoms or loose motions. And disorders of alimentary tract. What is meant by alimentary tract? The digestive system. Okay, everything you need not know clearly. If you know it is fine. So all these problems connected with this are caused by salinity, especially chlorides and sulfates. So no examiner in this world can escape from asking a question of this. So if he asks about TDS or chloride or sulfate or all the three also, you will get a chance to write all this. You have to dump it intelligently. Next please. Time, what is the time? 3:30. We have to hurry up. One more. Next. Then total alkalinity as CaCO3 200 mg per liter. Hardness it is also 200 mg per liter. Calcium 75, magnesium 30. These are the standards you will anyhow remember. When it comes to hardness also, just like salinity, the same formula applies. In seawater it is very high. In deep well water it is very high but less than seawater. In open well it is less than that. In river waters it is very less, and in distilled waters it is nil. Hardness may be nil for boiler waters. Next please. What are the effects on man for hardness and alkalinity both? Mainly hardness. Hardness is the property of water because of which it offers resistance to formation of lather with soap. So if water is hard and if you are using soap, lather is not formed. So it does not give us a sense of satisfaction when you take bath. As ordinary human being, we expect that lot of soap. When you use bit of soap, lot of foam, you should not be seen. You will be completely like in that advertisement. The whole body should be covered with foam. That gives you some sadistic pleasure. So it is caused mainly by carbonates and bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. It is caused by multivalent metallic cations like calcium, magnesium, strontium, aluminum, and manganese. They are all multivalent. These are all, of course, bivalent. How to remove them? Just like salts, they also cannot be removed easily. Of course, temporary hardness can be removed by boiling the water. If you boil water, the precipitate is formed. And if that precipitate is filtered, just like alum, treatment with alum, if the precipitate, that water is filtered, the precipitate is removed. So the remaining water is free from temporary hardness, which can be removed by boiling. But permanent hardness is removed once again by all these methods like distillation, ion exchange, reverse osmosis, just like distilled water. Next please. Maybe last but one slide of the day. What are the effects of hard waters on man? One, it is an economical loss. As economic loss, as more soap is used. Generally what happens is lather need not be formed. to get a comfort. For example, you are taking bath in a seawater with seawater. You are still using a soap. It does not form any lather because hardness is very high. 5000 mg per liter CaCO3. Drinking water standard is 200 mg per liter CaCO3. In river water has a hardness of 100 mg per liter CaCO3. If you take Hyderabad, most of the waters have hardness of 500, 600, 800 mg per liter CaCO3. The moment water is hard, lather is not formed easily. Whereas because Godavari water is used, which has a hardness of 100 mg per liter CaCO3, lot of lather is formed. So it gives a lot of happiness. But if you are taking bath in a water, what happens? You put any amount of soap, lather is not formed. Your body is clean. Body is clean. It has nothing to do with the lather. But we don't get that satisfaction. So you apply just like cleaning a buffalo with lot of grass and Ia, you will put lot of force, almost 500 kilonewton force you will apply. What happens in this process is you are wasting a lot of soap. Is it not an economic loss to you? Soap, what is the cost? What is the cost of Lux? What is the cost of Pierce? No, I will not ask you for your which soap you are using. It will become a big problem. Tomorrow you will fight. That teacher asked me which soap you are asking. Second, another economic loss, as more time is consumed and more fuel is consumed for cooking. The moment water has a lot of hardness, boiling point changes and water cannot be heated easily. And it takes more time for the food to be cooked. So instead of 15 minutes, you have to cook it for 25 minutes. So what happens? It is taking more time. Though 10 minutes extra fuel is consumed, extra gas is consumed, double the amount of gas is consumed. So is it not an economic loss? Definitely yes. And the third point, loss of palatability of food cooked. What is meant by palatability? You have already seen it. Taste, good taste. All women of the world, I don't say women of the present world, your mothers, boys as well as girls, your mothers, they all know one great eternal truth, that is a good cook always cooks in sim position. Sim means slow, very low flame comes. They take more time and very low heat. Then the food will be very less, very tasty. But here what happens? If water is hard, sim will not work. And you have to cook it for more time at high temperature. The moment you are doing both, that is high temperature and more time, it loses completely the taste. So that is another very big problem. You can be a good cook. Skin vulnerable to diseases. If the water that you are using is hard, then you are prone to more skin diseases. Why? All of you please listen to me. All our human skins are provided with one facility, and that is the skin secretes, that means oozes, secretes some sorts of substances which protect the skin. They are natural antibiotics. They protect the skin. Any external agent falls or any disease causing thing comes, it will protect it. But what happens if the water does not form lather? When you apply a lot of soap here, these natural bodies which are secreted by the skin, they are killed. Once they are killed, the skin loses its ability to fight the external agents which cause diseases. That is the reason, if hard water is used, because of our foolishness to use more soap, we are killing your friends. We are the natural antibiotics. Maybe they are not seen to the physical eye. And then the skin is prone to diseases. And all these things will not come in 1 year or 2 year or 10 year. After 10 year, the Bahubali 2 is released. Fifth point, scales in hot water pipes and boilers. So what happens is, the heater which you are using in our house, inside there will be a lot of scales formed. So once the scales are formed, it consumes more fuel. Similarly, the hot pipe, if it contains hot water, a lot of uh, scales are formed. So this is another very big problem in industry, especially. Soft water has a flat taste. Soft water has a hard water also has a taste. It has an irritating taste. Soft water has a flat taste. Flat taste means ante ఏదో చప్పగా అదో రకంగా ఉన్నట్టుంటుంది. You cannot describe it. And it causes heart problems. Water should have some salts, then they protect us. Next please. Okay. We have come to the last slide of the day, but a very, very important slide for most of us. It may not be important to the people of majority of the people of Western East Godavari states, because fluoride content is not there in all these areas, not much. Whereas for some parts of the country, your friends, they are suffering a lot. Today, throughout the world, if there is any one pollutant which is highly problematic and which is a natural pollutant, that is fluoride. What are the sources of fluoride? Once again, I'm telling you, for most of these parameters in your examination, you can write it as natural. The source is natural source. That means some areas have high concentrations of fluoride. That's all. You cannot say why. Why Ongole only has that costliest granite in the world? Chemakurti? This is God's wish. Similarly, some areas, South Africa is blessed with a lot of gold. Some of you are blessed with a lot of physical appearance, and others are blessed with a great heart. So many combinations. Similarly, some areas have high concentrations of fluoride. And fluoride is a two-edged knife. It is a knife that is very sharp both sides. Generally, any knife which we use to cut vegetables, one side will not be that sharp. So even if you press it with a lot of force, nothing will happen here. But this is not like that. Let us see what happens. Topaz, fluorspar, cryolite, these are all fluoride giving substances, naturally occurring substances. What are the effects of fluoride in water? Mainly it is connected with health. Effects on man means need not be directly health, his well-being also. Sometimes okay, the first effect is lack of fluoride causes caries. What is meant by caries? I could have very easily written the meaning of it. Any meaning which you all know, I could have written, but I have not written because I am interested in you. I want that you should learn yourself. What is meant by caries? Dictionary బాగా చూస్తున్న వాళ్ళని చూపించండి. What caries means? Decay of tooth or bone. So what happens if the fluoride is very less in water? Then the children, especially in children, strong, hard, durable teeth are not formed. పిప్పి పళ్ళు వస్తాయి. దాంట్లో 7-8 కన్నాలు ఉంటాయి. Small worms, germs, etc. can play hide and seek game in that. They have so many zigzag routes. That is the main problem with fluoride. So fluoride is essential. That is why fluoride toothpaste is there. It supplements fluoride. Many areas, for example, Kakinada water supply system has a fluoride of only 0.3 or 0.4 mg per liter, which is actually not that sufficient. Second point, in formation stage it combines with, it means fluoride. Fluoride combines with enamel and forms strong, hard and durable teeth. That is why some water supplies are supplemented with fluoride in municipal water also. The third point, if fluoride is more than 1.5 mg per liter, if it is, what is the standards? 1 mg per liter is the standard. 1.5 mg per liter is the maximum possible standard. But if it is more than 1.5, then it causes mottling. What is meant by mottling? Once again, I can tell, I will not tell because I want that you should know yourself. Mottling is, in simple terms, it is discoloration of teeth. Is it like that? Marked with patches of sober, marked with patches of different colors. I told it as a discoloration of teeth, but your answer is far better. You will definitely one day excel your teacher in all subjects if you follow the words of such type of words, like bringing calculator, bringing pocket distance. So if chloride concentration is more than 1.5, first it starts with yellowing of teeth. That the white color it should be there. Teeth should be in white color because it is full of calcium, lime. But gradually they become yellow in color. Almost Telugu Desam party arrives here on your teeth. Is it good? Telugu Desam party is good. But the yellow teeth, is it good? If the concentration is much more than 1.5, suppose it is 2.5 mg per liter, what happens? Then it becomes communist color. Red color comes. Red or dark brown color it becomes. And if the concentration is more than 4 mg per liter, do you know what happens? It is the color of devils. Devils, their teeth, devils are white in color, but their teeth are black in color. Closely observe this night. What is the color of teeth of devils? Black. Dark black the teeth will become. That is why you will see in many areas, especially Nalgonda, the girl will be very beautiful. When she opens her mouth, you will find 32 black teeth. It is a matter of pain for every one of us. That is our neighboring district. Our brothers and sisters are suffering for something. It is a natural pollution. And we have got 70 years independence. We are not able to do anything to them. But still, as a civil engineer, what is that you can do for them? You have to think about it. So that is the severity of mottling. Even when I am talking like this, most of you are not liking it. Even I also do not like it. But does it give the solution? The solution is in your hands. So if we can help them out in how to remove fluoride from water, which is there in the 4th chapter next minute, then let us see, maybe we all can provide a better environment for the people because of this MOOC. So 4th point, F more than 5 ppm causes bone fluorosis. The bones they bend. Person cannot stand straight. The feet, the legs will become like this. They will bend. Skeletal, even this bone, it will not be strained. It will become like this. Bone loses its strength. If he jumps like this, it will be broken. Not an exaggeration. They should walk very slowly. They should sit very slowly. Bone becomes something like a very brittle, just like what is a chalk piece? A chalk piece is calcium only. How brittle it is? Exactly the same way the bone becomes. And that is why you will find people suffering from excess fluoride, you will find skeletal disabilities, abnormalities, and even the bone fluorosis. This is called. Maybe somebody is referring dictionary, something else is given. We can be. The last point is it can be removed by a technique, Nalgonda technique. It is actually first initiated by UNICEF, because Nalgonda is the zone in the then combined state where highest levels of fluoride are found. There are some of Nalgonda where you will find concentrations of 50 mg per liter, 50, in water. And by drinking, can anybody identify whether it has water fluoride or not? No, it cannot be identified. Even though it is 100 mg per liter, for taste, it cannot be identified. It will not give any visible symptoms. Like the water color is changed or taste is changed, no change. Even though it is 100 mg per liter. So people start consuming water, unaware of the fact that it is the main culprit. So this very technique is called Nalgonda technique, and how it is used, etc. We will see in the later chapters. It is removed by activated carbon. This solution, activated charcoal and activated carbon, is a solution to remove color of water. It is used to remove iron. It is used to remove excess chlorine in chlorination. Like that, in water treatment, you will get this part of activated carbon several times. You will be getting. That is why that line also is very, very important. With this, let me have the pleasure of concluding this day, and I invite any three of you to conclude the session, to tell the most important learnings of the day through your words. I invite any three students. Today I will call roll number. Today's date is actual 3. What do you mean by actual date is 3 and original date is? Okay, we will make it today. We will make it as roll number. Last time what was the number? 4. Today we will make it. All the colleges, please pay attention, and